when members of the World Press Institute visited the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, I was lucky enough to be able to interview the two representatives from Africa. One was from Tanzania, the other Nigeria.
Yeah, my name is Japhet Sanga. I come from Tanzania, which is in East Africa, and I work for the Daily News as an assistant news editor.
I'm Cordelia Onu, and I come from Nigeria in West Africa. I live in Lagos, and I work for the Daily Champion as an assistant news editor.
What are your impressions on the differences between your countries and this country socially, you know, just day-to-day living?
Yeah, I think the first impression which I learned about America is that people really work hard. They work hard in the sense that they try to maximize every opportunity which comes across their way, and every minute, every hour, somebody is busy doing something, which is not the case back home. Especially, you know, in urban areas, some people think that it's just enough, you know, being idle and waiting for the government to help you and to get you a job and something like that. So, at least I was impressed with that people really work hard. Another thing which I noted about America is the transparency which you have. You know, that is in terms of the media, the openness. You can express your views, and you know, without being intimidated. So that is another impressive factor which I learned about America. But the negative aspect of America which I learned is that people are kind of, you know, lonely. They live in solitude, and that is why you have, you know, so many people who are trained to help and counsel people with problems, with depression, with stress. We don't have that much back home.
For me, my first observation is that Americans are regular human beings. They are not what we thought they were back home, because we were under the impression that they behave like computers, say, that they don't have emotions, they don't have problems. But I realized that they are normal human beings with their everyday challenges. Then again, like Japhet said, Americans are very hardworking people, and everybody has his or her own goal and pursues it with all his might and resources. But then I noticed that, I don't know, but Americans tend to eat too much. And I think it's reflecting on their health. The people don't always look too healthy to me, because when I go into the pharmacy shops, I see shelves containing drugs for having a good night's sleep, drugs for your memory, drugs for everything. It's like, I don't think the people are really as healthy as they look to me.
When you said that you were surprised to find that we're regular people with feelings and so forth, tell me about how our society comes across in the media, the news, movies, and different stereotypes that you have.
Back home, the movies show us that most Americans are violent, because most movies that come from the United States depict the people as violent. It shows everybody carrying guns around. It affected me when I came in initially. I couldn't go out in the evenings. But I realized that part of it was true, part of it was a lie. At least I survived for 4 months without anybody shooting at me.
And maybe subsequent to what Cordelia has just said, I think that is one of the main reasons why you have most of the violence in schools and in the streets, because most of youngsters, the teenagers, watch these movies, you know, and they have easy access to the internet, and most of the movies are violent related. So that is why you find some of the kids pick it from the movies, from the television, and they want to you know, somebody has seen something on the television, and then he wants to translate it into reality, and that is why you have this particular crimes in schools, social places.
Again, we believe that people here are too materialistic, that they don't care about their neighbors. All they care about is just making more money every day. But I think Americans are very caring people. They love their neighbors, their children, their friends, their townspeople. They are as caring as every other race in the world.
I would also like to mention another impression which I learned about the United States. Initially, I had thought that maybe coming to the United States I would experience racism, but I never saw it actually. It could be there, but maybe it's done covertly. That is, you know, nobody tells you that he hates you because you're black, or maybe because you're Hispanic or something like that. But I enjoyed it really much because we were putting up with the different host parents, host families, and they treat you just like part of the family. So that is something positive about America. I never saw racism in reality, like in other countries where I've been to. For example, I would mention here Germany. You can see it in the streets, you can see it in the media, and you can see it even in social places, but not in America.
You mentioned about how violence in our media is affecting our society. How do you think United States mass media is affecting your countries? And also, how do you think the reporting by your news media of our country might be affecting your country, like your moral values, your social values, and so forth?
For the case of Tanzania, which is in East Africa, it's really affecting our cultural values and moral values, because we have this generation of teenagers who are now watching televisions and movies. You see, they see a wrong impression of the United States on the movies. That is, if you take the case of the transparency which you have here, you see, in Africa, I cannot go to the same swimming pool with my mother and see her a swimsuit or her pants. You know, that is impossible. I've never even seen my mom's pants, my dad's pants. That is, you know, it's like a taboo. But you see, some of the youngsters back in Tanzania watch these things on the televisions, watch these things on the movies, and they try to behave like Americans, which I think is doing a big disservice to my country, sort of eroding the moral and cultural values which we have sustained since time immemorial.
Okay, still about the American movies and their effect. We have a lot. There was a time we had a lot of security problems in the country because the criminals were becoming too powerful. Most of the time when you watch them operating, it's like you're watching an American movie. So we started believing that they were learning how to handle guns and how to rob people from American movies. But anyway, my country realized long ago that it's not good to isolate yourself from the rest of the world or to preserve whatever you think is your culture without allowing something else to come in from outside. So we are being very careful about it. We are taking the good and then pushing out the bad. We are doing our best, but like there's globalization now, we want to be part of it. So we are allowing some sort of Western culture, and then at the same time we are proud of our own culture.